Okay, before we go any further, let's get out of this split view. So let's just work in design view. And we need our properties window. So let's go to window, properties, and then take this floating window and drag it all the way to the bottom of your screen so that it attaches to the bottom because we're going to be needing this. Let's go to our assets tab and scroll to ray.png. I'm already on that, so select ray.png and you should be able to see a preview of what the image looks like. Go ahead and select it, and we're going to place this in our layout. So let's place it right before the first word in the first paragraph here, so right before the word my. Let's click our cursor so that it's blinking right before the M, and let's just click the insert button. And it does come onto our page, but it's really large. So the file size is 250 by 590 pixels, which is way too large for our layout. So we're going to want to resize this. And there's a few ways that we could do this. We could click on our image and hold the shift key down to keep the proportion, and then we could drag it and make it smaller. We could also go into the properties window and we could manually change the dimensions. So if we constrain the size, meaning we click this little lock button so that it's closed, that means that if I change the size of this image to 90 pixels, which is the size that we want, 90 pixels wide, and then hit return, it's going to resize it proportionally. But the problem with that is that we only need our image at 90 pixels wide, but it's actually 250. And that's going to mean that when our page loads, it's going to load a larger image than the one that's displayed on the page. If you have a page with many images on it, you want to make sure that you size your images to the exact dimension or pixel dimension that they're going to appear in your page. It's just a best practice. It's more efficient that way. So instead of using the properties window to resize it as it appears in our document, we're going to go ahead into the original image and resize it there. So we're not going to use the ray.png. We're actually going to use another file called ray-smaller.png. So let's let's delete our ray.png from our layout. Let's go to ray-smaller.png, and let's go over to our File tab. So let's make sure we have ray-smaller.png selected. Let's click on it and drag it. And you can see as I drag around, my cursor is showing where it's going to be placed. So let's place it in the exact same spot and let go of the mouse. And it's the same size. So it's renamed ray-smaller. So it's a duplicate file of ray.png. And there's some instructions in the tutorial that show you how to do that. But it's already renamed. We just haven't resized it yet. Make sure that ray-smaller.png is selected. It should be highlighted in your design view. In the properties window, click on this edit button, and it should open up in Photoshop. This is the original image opening up in Photoshop that we can edit. So we'll go to the image menu, choose image size, and we'll make sure that this little chain link is checked, it's darkened, And let's choose 90 for the pixel size, pixel width. And you can see how it reduced the size of the image significantly. And let's hit OK. Let's save. And then let's go back to Dreamweaver. Okay, so now that we're back in Dreamweaver, we can see that even though we changed the size of the original image, ray-smaller.png, it's still showing up at the same size in our design view. Now it does look more pixelated, but what we need to do is click on this button that says Reset to Original Size so that the changes made in the original file are reflected in our layout. So now our Ray character is looking to be the correct size. Okay, so let's go back to our Files tab and let's close the Images folder and go to our Source folder. From our Source folder, let's choose Ronnie original.psd, and we need to drag it to the end of the last bullet point in our layout. So let's drag that file right to here. And we get some options. So what we're going to do is choose the PNG 24 for photos so that we have sharp details. And hit OK. And then we're going to save this into our images folder. So it's going to create a PNG. All right, so save. All right, so notice that our file path down in the Properties window, it shows our source. So images folder / Ronnie original, and it's PNG. So that is our file path. Let's take a look at the file path for Ray. Click on Ray, and you can see that that is also inside the images folder. That's our ray-smaller.png. Okay, so we have something at the top of our image called the round trip icon, and that's going to allow us to edit this file in Photoshop next time we click the Edit button in the Properties window. So let's go ahead and do that. With Ronnie selected, let's choose the Edit button. It opens her up in Photoshop. We can close these other tabs. We don't need them. So what we want to do is flip Ronnie horizontally so that she's facing the other direction. So let's go ahead and go to Images, Image Rotation, Flip Canvas Horizontal. Let's save and go back to Dreamweaver. Okay, so we're back in Dreamweaver, and even though we flipped Ronnie so that she's facing the other way, she looks exactly the same in our layout. We need to go to the Properties window and choose this Update from Original button. Click on that, and it updates our image.